Well, I get to share the Kalen Abbott story, and it's full of numbers, so I'm going to refer to my notes now and then. It's a track and field cross-country story, so it has stats in it, and we're all about stats in our game. But let me first say, good afternoon. What a privilege to be here, and I commend the committee for your choice. And I say thank you for putting forward Kalen as a nominee and now a Hall of Honor candidate. As I tell you his story, I'm going to go back maybe to a surprising place. It won't start here. I want you to go back with me to your knowledge of 7th and 8th grade, bony knee, all elbows, big feet, awkward little guys. And that's Kalen. 7th and 8th grade, beginning a stellar career in cross country. And his coach is a young woman who was a sprinter in college, and quite a successful sprinter, but never coached cross country or distance running, a little apprehensive about working with 7th and 8th graders and about working with distance runners. Fortunately, she had Kalen as a first pupil, and so she discovered that he was a good listener, coachable, teachable, and that if she said go, he would win. And it made her career. The last 2 years, she has coached for Malala High School state championship cross-country teams. And I think she reflects back on that first experience saying, hey, this is easy. They're coachable, they listen, they're teachable, and if I say go, they win. So you are a factor and a piece of a championship coach's career. She had a great beginning. So I share that, and I need to share one other piece of that, because something happened during Kalen's 8th grade year that was a foreshadowing of what would happen here. As a 9th grader, he joined a team that had just won the state championship in cross country. And three members of that team were returning, and what in the world do you need a 9th grader for when you're a championship outfit? But he earned a varsity job, and he made that trip to state with a team. But that's not the key part and why I share it. The key part is that 9th grader then was elected captain for the next year. 3 times in my 46 years of coaching, that has happened. Once with Kalen as a 9th grader being elected captain next year, happening again on this campus when he arrived after the first year, becoming the undisputed leader for the next year and the next year and the next year. And in one other instance, I've seen that happen, and that's very special, and that indicates something other than running ability. That's acknowledged leadership by your peers, and all the ramifications that would involve as far as listening and appreciating and encouraging, and both word and deed being front and center. Let's go to college and get him here so we can tell his story that really, and don't worry about those little ones. Kalen loves those little family members with all of his heart. When he's far away, they're a special part of his everyday, so no distraction at all. Before I tell the story specifically, let me read one verse from the Amplified Bible that I think sets it up so well. Psalm 37:23 says in the Amplified Bible, the steps of a good man are directed and established of the Lord when he delights in his way. And then the Amplified Bible adds a parenthesis that speaks right to Kalen, and he busies himself with his every step. So he gets here as a freshman, he can run, and he's going to be identified as a future leader. And he's got to decide on a major and what he's going to do other than running. So he signs up to go to Australia for a semester. So he goes to Australia, and he finds a running group and had a couple pretty, world-class type runners in it. That was bound to happen. But after being down there a while, he calls me up and said, "Coach, I'm not majoring in business." "Oh, yeah, I think I'll major in biology." And I thought, well, that's a change, You went down there to get international business experience, and you change your major while you're down there. So try to make the best of it, huh? So he makes the best of it, and he comes home, and doing a good job. Things are going well on campus, and he's beginning to plug in and get that pathway decided. And then he is selected to go to Colorado Springs for a semester to the U.S. Olympic Training Center. We have a couple of Olympic training centers in the United States, and Kalen has a pull toward Colorado. It's always been there. I don't know when, maybe that was a 7th and 8th grade thing. Dad would have to speak to that. But you see this picture of rock climbing and mountain climbing and hiking and backpacking, and I think that's the attraction of Colorado, at least part of it. But anyway, he goes to Colorado Springs and works at the U.S. Olympic Training Center, and I'm sending him workouts, and we're communicating about his workout, but he's working at altitude, so we have to adjust. And, for a while he's saying, "Coach, that's impossible here, that can't be done, but pretty soon he's eating it up, training well. But he's part of a key research team, too young to do it, but he's getting his name on publications from our U.S. Olympic Committee, and he's getting to begin to make key connections that are going to, even now and in the future, be part of his life. He's meeting people who are impactful in their field and impactful in track and field and research, especially with physiology of athletes traveling around the world and making time zone changes and altitude changes. So he does a great job there, impresses them, and they impress him, and it solidifies this dream of what he's doing. And so he's trained at altitude, had wonderful experiences, and takes a long way home, getting back here for the next semester. Goes through Orange County and sets the Warner Pacific half marathon record, which he still holds, ran 13.5 miles in 70 minutes. And does a great job at the Orange County Marathon. Comes back, and now he full of these people and these experiences and the wonderful things that have happened. And somewhere in flying, and I don't think it was Australia, but I honestly don't remember what airplane flight it was. But when he got home, he said, "Coach, you won't believe the lady that I sat by on the plane." And he begins to tell me how this providential moment has occurred, that he sat beside a lady who's, who knew somebody who knew somebody who is somebody. And he said, "That didn't just happen, Coach. That was a God-ordained moment." And I think of that verse that all of us know so well in Proverbs, "In all of thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct thy paths." And as I heard Kalen's airplane story, I said, "God, your hand is on this young man, and you're directing his path. Thank you." And it was a special time. So I might as well stop and list then what he's accomplishing while he's here on campus and not running around the world. He still holds the 4-mile cross-country record here. He was a member of a cross-country team that set the team time record for Warner Pacific. He was 3 times an academic All-American while here, and you have to be here at least a semester before you can earn that honor, or else it would be 4. He was an all-conference runner while we were still in the conference, and while Kalen was here, the NAIA reorganized from I don't know what you call it. Anyway, they just divided the United States up differently, and we quit having a conference championship, which he ran in British Columbia, and we now just run in districts. But anyway, he was an all-conference runner. He earned All-American honors, as you saw mentioned on the scrolling pictures up here. 4 times he represented Warner Pacific in national cross-country championship meets. How can you do it 4? Well, one year we had qualified for NAIA Nationals in Kenosha, Wisconsin, but the week before we were still members of the National Christian College Athletic Association. So we ran in Cedarville, Ohio one weekend, and the next weekend we ran in Wisconsin. So he got to represent us 4 times, 1 time at the Christian college level and 3 times at the NAIA level. And then he is now the number 1 ranked senior runner, time-wise, number 4 overall in the school records here at Warner. And I'm referring to my notes here because I think of where he went and represented Warner Pacific College. And I've got Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio. That indoor national meet, was that in the northern edge of Illinois or Michigan when Baracco took you up there? Too many races, champ. 7 times he was at a national championship representing us. So, and with all of his travels, we'll work on that. I want you to be sharper with that, okay? And now Dr. Tripp is entering the picture and seriously beginning to work with Kalen and his biological studies. But while that's going on, Kalen set the school record, which he still holds in the steeplechase. He set that half marathon record that I mentioned. He holds the indoor 1,500 meter record here, and he holds the indoor 5,000 meter record here. And I don't know how long those will stand, but you still have them right now. As Dr. Tripp is orchestrating his career, another semester, he didn't have to go to Australia or Colorado Springs for this one, but either Kalen's grades or application or Dr. Tripp's powerful sway gets him into OHSU. So for a semester, he's studying at OHSU and mainly at the Beaverton Primate Center. And so I'm envisioning mornings when we're doing a morning workout at 6 o'clock out here, or Kalen's doing a morning workout, and I'm trying to wake up and eat donuts. But Kalen's got to run at 6 o'clock because he's got to attend class, he's got to get on TriMet bus, he's got to get to Beaverton to the Primate Center, and then he's got to get back, and that day after day for a semester. But again, meeting people who are, I'm sure he will say, still influential in his life. And because of his biological studies here, tremendously enriching experience for him. Let me end with one quick story. As Kalen ended his Warner Pacific days, it's graduation weekend. And as I said a moment ago, the NAIA was reorganizing, and at that time, what has become a 3-day meet at Nationals and has been in the conference. We're going to go back to 2 now. But when Warner Pacific was part of that reorganization, we held the conference track and field meet in 1 day. So I say to Kalen, hey, you know we can do this. You can do it. We're going to enter the 10K and the 5K. And I had every confidence that he would win them both. I said, we got to be clever. You're going to run 25 laps in the morning. Later on that afternoon, you're going to run 12 and a half. And our goal is to win both of those races. Typically, people who don't know what they're doing in a 10K or a 5K sprint the last 100. Some people who are a little more knowledgeable sprint when the bell is rung for the gun lap or the last lap. I said, I'll be up at the steeplechase pit at 500 meters, and at 500 meters, you jump them and go. Just sit on it till then. So he runs his 25-lap 10K in the morning. At 500 meters, he took off and just dusted the field, ran away from it. And I'm just going to say, it was no sweat. It was not hard at all. Okay? then he's got to pick up some family who are here for graduation the next day. And so he left the stadium for a little bit, got his family welcomed to town and organized, and he's excited about always seeing his family. Comes back that afternoon for the 12.5 lap 5K. I said, same plan, Kalen. I'll see you up there at 500 meters. Just sit on them, jump them, and go. And it was a little harder, wasn't it? But he won it going away. And later that afternoon, all the coaches in the conference named him the all-conference competitor and performer of the meet. And we don't do that anymore. We run the 10K on Thursday and the 5K on Saturday, or we run the 10K Friday in the future here, and the 5K on Saturday. But Kalen doubled, won it, got everybody's attention. It was an amazing day. And then the next day, he was a speaker at graduation. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Kalen Abbott.